Hi everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at a particular tool here called PG Auto Failover, which is just kind of an extension for Postgres that monitors and manages failover, as you could see from the main website I have open right here. So here we there are a lot of whole important information from this site. If you want to go through it, that was really great to really understand the tool. Today I'll really be focusing on doing some demo and seeing how the tool actually works and trying to see how we could do normal failover and also switch over, because it's just kind of a tool just for high availability. As you could see here, there are different types of use cases that you might want to go with with this tool. Here is just basically a single standby architecture here where you have the master server, which is doing a streaming replication to a standby, and you have a monitor here, and you have an application here. Basically, the application kind of fires a SQL into the primary, which is read and write, and it's replicating to this secondary here. And you see that if in case this primary is not available, we have a monitor here which does a health check, and then it can perform a fail back. The application could easily just fail back to the standby here, which is basically the secondary here. So, and again, a lot of questions might arise, like how will the application be able to, um, do a fallback to the standby? We're going to see that in our demo, and we'll kind of really understand how it does work. Here also is it's almost a similar architecture, but here it's a multiple standby architecture here, where instead of having just a single standby, we have two secondary node, B and a C, and we still have application there which could easily do a fallback to either of these standby nodes. And then we still have our monitor there, which monitors the health check. So, and it kind of does a decision if in case one of the standby, let's say the primary is down, or maybe we have a really huge lag. This monitor is really here to make that judgment, which we're going to see. Actually, it's really cool. And this is another architecture here. We have actually three standby nodes, one sync here, and we still see a similar architecture with health check. And there are a couple of deeper things to really understand about this. But the key focus here is I want to kind of dive into a demo and really see, because I was really curious to see exactly how it works. And I was really wondering, looking at the application itself, how it will connect in case of failover and all of that stuff. So we're going to jump right in. In this demo today, I'll be deploying an architecture which looks almost like this. So what happened is I'm going to have a primary node. I'm going to have two standby nodes. I'm going to have a monitor node, and I'm going to have an application. I'll see how we can connect from the application to the primary. So basically, I'm going to have 5 nodes. So basically, I'm going to be deploying something like this. All right. So when it comes to the installation of PG Auto Failover, here there are different ways, but then I'm just going to be using a CentOS box, and I think I have that right here. As you could see here, I have these are the 5 nodes I'll talk about. This is my master node here, as you could see. When I do host name, you could see here, this is my master node. I don't have anything deployed yet as of now. And this is my standby node. And I have here my monitor and the application. As you could also see, all of them, they have different IP addresses. So they're actually on different nodes, as you could see from here. All right. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here is I'm just going to add the required packages for this, and I'm going to do that on all the nodes for now. So here, and all this can be found on the website showed you earlier. So I'm going to add that, and when that has been added, the next thing we're going to do is to install. For now, the PG Auto Failover is it's compatible with Postgres 10 and 11, I think. Yeah. So we're going to run the installation of that after this is completed. So in just a couple of seconds. So note again, this I'm running a live demo. So everything here, it's you're going to just see how it works. And if you might want to go ahead and really explore PG Auto Failover from the website I showed earlier, that would be really good. Yeah, so I just hope our installation here goes quickly and okay. Okay, I think that should be done soon. A couple of nodes here finish. So we have two more nodes here to go. Okay, one is done, one more left. I think that should be done. A second. So when this is done, the next thing we're just going to go ahead and work more on the monitor. Okay, that is done. Okay. So with this done here, the next thing will be to work on the monitor. No, I think we have to install the PG Auto failover itself. So I'm just gonna go ahead and run the installation of that. This node here, and this other node here, and this other node here. And again, on the application itself, you might not really just for now. This is just a demo, but basically you just need the binaries on the application node itself. That's no configuration is going to be done on the application node. Basically, you just need the binaries here, which you're going to see how that is done. Okay, I think that should be okay. So on our monitor node, so this is our monitor node. Okay, it shows already installed. Okay, so we're going to work on a monitor node. So I'm going to comment out these other nodes so that I don't run any other, um, I don't run anything. I'm just going to concentrate on this node actually. So just to make sure that PG auto failover is installed, let me just uncomment this. And just for verification, we're just going to verify that it's installed. Let me just paste this command on all the nodes just to make sure that it gives us a response. Okay, I think that does that on all the nodes. PostgreSQL this, PGCTL, and this is a command line. As again, as I mentioned, it's just an extension, and this is the command line tool PG auto CTL, which we're going to use. If you run that command, you basically, you know, there's going to be a lot of all other sub commands there to execute. So when you receive this message after doing that both, you know, everything it's okay as it should be. So right now, let me comment out this, and I'm going to focus only on the monitor node. Okay, so here to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to create the monitor. And before we do that, I'm just going to create some locations which I'm going to use for this. So in this, I'm just going to create. Let me just do this is Valley, and I'm gonna do it on that PGCTL location here, and then I'm gonna just create PG Auto. Just gonna cut it like that, and um, and I'm gonna create a subcommand. I'll just call it Benson for now. It's just kind of where I know all my data directory and everything for that node is going to be. So after doing this here, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to export the path for my PostgreSQL 12 because in this I'm using PostgreSQL 12. So I'm going to export the path for that, which I know the path is USL bean here, and I'm just going to export that path. Okay, so with the path exported, I am going to export the PG data. And again, I'm just going to use exactly what I've already created there, the path. So I'm going to export my PG data, and I'm going to say my PG data is going to be in this location right here. And it's going to be on the monitor, right? So this location monitor here is going to be created. So I'm just going to export that just to differentiate that, okay, this is where I have my monitor. What's that? All right. So with that already, the next thing we will have to do is we have to create the monitor. All right. And we're going to use that command line tool, which is a PG Auto CTL. So right now, if you run something like PG Auto CTL, Auto CTL hyphen help, we should be able to get some response there. All right. If you exported everything well, you should be able to get response there. And what we're going to do there, we're going to create. So there are other sub commands there. And again, what we're going to run here is we are going to run the PG auto create, and we're going to run this command here. We're going to say PG auto create monitor, and I'm going to put a host name here to be monitor, and I'm going to specify a port here, which is going to be port 6000 for the monitor, and I'm going to specify auth trust, and it's just defining that, okay, and this is just a demo, right? And we're not using any SSL. And you need to specify this, because if you do not specify this, it would throw you an error. Let's say, for example, let me just, if I remove this and I try to run this, it might throw me an error. All right. PG auto. Oh, I made a mistake there. So it's PG auto CTL. Okay, PG auto CTL. So if I run this, it would throw me an error, say I need to specify the auth trust, and because basically you need to be able to, it needs to create some sort of an HBI entry. So if you could be able to, tighten up your security, but then this is just a demo here. So, and if I go ahead and provide this, you know, it will it it will still it will tell me, okay, if I'm not using SSL, I should mention. So if I go ahead and provide that, you see it says that, okay, I should provide no SSL if I'm not using that. And that's the reason why I provided all those things initially. So we're going to go ahead and run this. This should be able to create a monitor. So um you should create that. Just give it a second. And oh, error root log. This is server must be started under an unprivileged user ID to prevent possible. Oh, failed to get Postgres PID. See above error. Uh, okay, failed to get Postgres PID. Okay, it looks like we're gonna let me cancel this. We got a couple of errors here. It's talking about the CD above log, ensure Postgres to ensure Postgres is running. Okay, Postgres log. Okay, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to log in as Postgres. Okay, let me just set the password for Postgres here. And I'm just gonna set a password here for Postgres. And I'm gonna log in as Postgres. Um, okay, I already did created those locations. So I did created those locations. What I'm gonna do here is, okay, guys, let me just exit here, so that I should create that as Postgres. So let me cd into Valley PGSQL, and let me just remove this PG auto. Okay, and let me log back in as Postgres, and what I'm gonna do is I will need to export. Let me just go ahead and create this as a Postgres user. Okay, let me run this command here. And the next one will be to run. Okay, just make sure I export this and paste that. And the next one will be to export my data directory. Okay, and then paste that. Okay, so this should work now, I think. Let me call up that command here and I paste that. Okay, let me run this. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're having some green here. Okay, so that has been created. It's just this once, but everything is created. All right. So, um, with this created now, the next thing will be to start uh, to that will be now to start everything up. So it's going to start up a cluster and everything. So, and to do that, it's always advisable you use a PG Auto CTL to start up your cluster. All right. So with that created, next thing here is to run the same PG Auto, but we're going to say PG Auto CTL run. Okay, I'm going to run that cluster now. And this should be able to run that. Okay, and that is running. All right, so we have that running right now. And so here, okay. So with this here, we need to get the connection string here because since this is the monitor, we need to make sure that the other nodes, um, should be able to start up while, knowing where the monitor is. So in this case, let me just open another tab since I have it already running here. And again, there's another video which I might do, but again, that is it's basically straightforward and simple. If you might decide to use a system file to be able to start this, if you go to the website, you will see that. And it is recommended, and there is a particular command which you can run to just get the actual system file, which the content of that service file, which you might want to use to start this instead of having this running like this. Okay, but for now, what I'm going to do is I need to get the connection string of this monitor. I don't want to stop this, so I'm going to duplicate this same session here on the monitor server so I can get that. So here, let me just exit this and I'm going to duplicate. This is my monitor here. I'm going to duplicate this tab. Okay. I'm going to duplicate this tab here. Okay. Come on. Okay. Okay. Duplicate this tab. So let me log in back as Postgres. And that's the tab I just duplicated there. Just want to make sure that my path is exported on this duplicated monitor tab here. And also want to make sure that data directory is exported. Is it the same duplicated tab here? All right. And then now what I will do is I will do show, PG auto CTL show URL, right? Show URI of having an error there. Okay, why am I having an error here? Fail to connect to PostgreSQL node series. This try onto server is ready. Connection failed. No HBA entry for this node here. User PGCL off. Please verify authentication log. Okay. Fail to get list of. So I think we have a Postgres node should be running here. Grab Postgres. Okay, yeah, we should have it running here. Yeah, so we have a PostgreSQL node running here. It needs to connect there. There's no HBA entry for this node itself. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now what we will do here is, okay, for some reason it's refusing to connect because of this. And if we look back at the logs we had here, we see it did mention a warning that is keeping this edit here for PGHBA. And let's see why it's doing that. Let's just, we know where the data directory is. This is our data directory. So if we cd into this data directory here, we should be able to see a note here. So if I vi the pghba conf, let me go right down and see if I have any entry there. There seem not to be any because it just kept it. For some reason, it didn't write that in there. So what we're going to do here is we could manually put that in there. I'm just gonna do host, and I'm just gonna for this I'm just gonna do all right, and I'm gonna put 192.168.91.0/24 for all of those, and I'm just gonna put trust here. All right, and let me see, that should be able to work. And since I have this, let me run pgctl. Just gonna paste that in. I'm gonna run reload. Okay, and let me attempt that query again. Okay, good. So this is the information you're supposed to get. For some reason, if it doesn't, and it's very important to kind of look through everything going on there. And now this is our connection string. It's very, very important to get this connection string. Without this connection string, it's going to be difficult for you to set up the other nodes. All right. Okay, now, next thing is we're going to hop over to our master. And this is our master right here. Since we're just going to do things separately this time around, just going to hop over to our master server here. And I'm just going to quickly give a password for the Postgres user here. And I'm going to precise that. I'm going to log in as Postgres. Okay, I need to export what I exported there earlier. It's kind of cool to make sure you have it handy, but yeah, so over here, I'm going to export the binaries there, and my PG data, I'm supposed to create this location. I will create that, and that's gonna be for the master, but I'm just gonna export. Let me go ahead and create this first, okay, since I don't have it here. let me go ahead and mkdir minus p. I'm going to create this location, and I'm going to export my PG data. Okay, so it's going to create this for my master server. So with that done, the next thing here is I will need now to create Postgres. All right, I'll run the PG Auto to create Postgres. In this sense, I'm not creating the monitor. I already have the monitor running there. So I'm going to run PG Auto CTL and create Postgres. And I'm going to specify the host name. And the host name here is PG Master, right? I have the host name there as PG Master. This is my host name. And then I'm going to specify the PG port, right? And the PG port I'm going to take here is going to be 6001, since I have my, and again, they're running on separate servers, so you could decide to use the same, but I'm just going to use different right now. And again, I'm going to specify the DB name, and the database name I want to specify here is, I'm just going to call it Autodb, right? This, you can call it anyone. You want to call it maybe test, whatever, that's fine. Then the next thing is I'm still going to specify the auth trust. I just hope this time it adds everything there. And I'm going to specify the no, I'm not using any SSL here. And this is where it's very important for you to have the monitor. So why here you need to specify the monitor, right? And the monitor, what you're specifying here is the connection string. And that connection string we got over here, this connection string is what you need. So you're going to copy this connection string right over to failover here, right? Not copying everything, but right up to failover. So you copy the connection string over there. Then you come over here and you have to provide that connection string here. If you don't do this, it won't work, all right? You're letting the master servers know, okay, when it's pulling everything, it should be aware where we have a monitor server. Is everything looks good? Let's fire this up. Okay, everything is looking okay. That's fine. PGCTL, we just hope it did not warn about the stuff. Okay, that's right on. That makes sense. That's good. And the next thing is we're going to go ahead to start to start the cluster here by running pg auto ctl run. So we're going to go pg auto, right, auto ctl run. All right, then this is going to fire that out. Okay, while that is okay and running there, um, um, uh, everything should be up. The master should be there already, and there are a couple of commands which you could use to verify, but a lot of them we're going to see them as we're riding ahead. Um, as we're moving on, I'll show you a couple of commands that we could use to see exactly the nodes that are there. But you could use the PG, the PG. Okay, now let me come over here on my monitor. This is my monitor server right here. If you do the PG um, autoctl show, let's do -help for this show. We're going to see that we can show URI, which we already did. We could show event, we could show state. Um, there are a couple of things that we could actually see there. Show settings, and we're going to run some of those commands later on to actually see. You could show events and a whole lot of stuff there. You could show the state. Okay, let's do something. Let's do like show state. You see the state of this cluster right now. So if you do show state now, what we're seeing is there here that we have one. And again, this is on the monitor node that we're seeing this. So it's actually showing us that it's able to reach the master server, and we could see here that you know, the monitor is is fine. It's seeing the master. So that is that for the master server. Let's go ahead on the one of the standby. So this is going to be one of our standbys, which is PG standby one. So we kind of done there with the master server. So on the PG standby, on the standby one, what we'll do now is we're almost going to do the same things we've done earlier already, exporting that and creating of just basic stuff we've done already. So I'm just going to kind of copy almost the same thing we've done already, like exporting, copy that. And this is on my standby one. And I'm going to export binary location. And this, I'm not going to, let me just copy this. I will edit that later on, but I'm not going to run that. Okay. I'm going to edit that. Okay. Oops. What's going on? All right. It's kind of buggy slow. So I'm going to create this location first. All right. And then we'll do biggest mkdir minus p. I'm going to create that. And I'm going to export. So I'm going to call it standby one. All right. So I'm going to export this to be my standby one. And then I'm going to run again the same pgctl create Postgres. All right. And then I'm going to specify the monitor server. And again, when you specify that, anyway, you guys will see what happens. We'll look at those logs as they show up. You will see how it's picking this up to be that standby. Okay. So again, the first node that has already joined the cluster there is it's our um, it's our master node, right? As you could see from the output of here. Okay, this is our first node, single. All right. So over here, we're going to run the same thing we ran over there. We're going to edit some stuff. Let me just pick out the command so that we're going to just edit a couple of things there. I'm not going to run everything, but just kind of edit some stuff there. And just paste this. And I'm going to come over here. Database. I'm going to change this port here to 2. And this is going to be PG standby. Yeah, PG standby 1. Okay. I hope the host name looks good. PG standby 1. Okay. And I think that makes sense. That is, knows that. Okay, I think that should be that. Okay, let's fire this up. Okay, this creates. And then if you look keenly here, you realize that there is a PG-based backup taking place. Now, because this now is coming up, oh, we're receiving some bad messages there. What's happening? What's happening? What is happening? Oh, I think I have to stop this. Oh, I'm running it as root. Oh, no way. Okay, guys, so I need to, okay, let me do this. Okay, let me, made a mistake there. So I'm going to just remove this. Okay, I'm going to remove that. I don't need it. And I'm going to log in as Postgres. Sorry guys, I forgot to do that. Actually, I was supposed to not do it as a super, oh, come on. Not as a super user. Okay, I exported that. I think that was okay. Okay. Then the next thing I was supposed to create. Oh, oh, come on. It's going a bit too far. Sorry, guys. I really did not want to make this video too long, but yeah, sometimes live demo can be challenging. So let me export the path there. Oh no, I've exported the PG data, and I'm going to provide this path, and I'm going to provide standby one, and that should be fine. Then I'll have to run this magic command right here. Okay, so that should be what we wanted. Oh, what happened? Service initiative exited. Oh, damn. I hope I don't have Postgres server running there. There's a server initiative exited to duplicate key, violating the key constraint, duplicate. Oh, go. Mm. Oh, looks like this I already did something wrong there. Did this supposed to go? Yeah. Failed to register existing local hosts running at this. Super query failed to register node. See previous lines to register existing local. Restarting service, duplicate key. Okay. Let's see what happened here. Okay. Yeah, there seems to be an issue there. I might need to change something here right quick just to make sure this goes. I'm going to put Benson 1 here just to trick this out. See if that should be able to. Should be able to fix. Oh God, still having a lot of errors there. Something went wrong with subproject. So stop now. See. Okay, let me just clear the screen up here. This is my. Just make sure nothing is running here. If there's a process running, you might want to make sure we kill that out. Okay, nothing is going there. Okay. Who am I here? Postgres. Okay, good. So this is that. Let's Let me cd into that value PGSQL again. Let me remove this. Permission denied. Why permission denied here? Must Postgres. Okay, it looked like there was there's already yeah, I think I can understand what was going on. Okay. I think I could get what was going on. All right. Let's do the same thing again here. Export the path. Let's create this location here. And let us export the PG data on this node here. Let's gonna call it standby1. And let's go ahead and run the same query we ran last time. Hopefully this time around, everything should be working fine. I'm gonna change this to 2. And I'm gonna say this is my PG standby1, which is, make sure it's the same node, PG standby1. Okay, let me fire this up. Oh, whoa. I'm still having some errors here. There seems to be something running up on this node. Anyway, for the case of this demo, let's just go ahead to our node 2. Let me just go ahead to the second node standby2. And let's run the same thing. There's something going on that node, which I will look at it later on. Okay, standby2, paste. And next, I'm gonna export data directory here, paste this, and this is gonna be 2. Next, I'm going to run the pgctl create over here. So node 2, and this is pg standby2, and this is gonna be 3. So everything else look fine. I'm gonna execute that. So it should be able to run like this. All right. There's something on that node which you need to see. But one important thing you see here is that there was a PG-based backup. Failed to connect to, yeah, it could not connect to the first one, which is the other standby. Let me see here. Oh, I see. This node seemed to have been registered here already. Okay, that's the reason why. It was already registered here when I ran it, so I was supposed to get that out. That's the reason why I'm supposed to delete this node out of here. Okay, so it could not catch up. Okay, that's the reason. Okay. Now that we have this PG-based backup already running here, everything is fine. The next thing we have to do there is just to start this node, which we're going to do pg autoctl run, and that should be started. And you see here that it's going to catch up. Everything should be fine. Catch up with the primary. If we look at the status back here, we should be able to see that it caught up after starting the node. And you see that this is a secondary server. All right. So this other one here, it's still there just because, yeah, we got that. So we're going to get that node out. All right. Okay, let's try to see if we can drop the node. Drop node hyphen name. Let's say node 2. Okay. Unrecognized parameter name. Okay. Let's see. Drop node. Let's do help to see what parameters. Okay, we can specify the host name, destroy port, all of that. All right. Okay, destroy drop node. Then we can destroy that. And the host name is PG standby 1. And the PG port, it's over here, was 6002. Let's attempt that. See, please play the host name and port or destroy. Okay. Okay, let's remove that. Okay, didn't return us anything. Let's see. Okay, got that out. All right. So we got the node out of here. Let's see. Let's see if we could get everything running back as it was supposed to be. And let's cd to this location. Let's destroy this. All right, and let's create back these, and then think export back these, and yeah, I think we should be good to go. Yeah, this is fine. And let's see here. Let's run this again. Okay, now we're back on track. So what we're supposed to do was to get that node out of there, all right? Because it was already registered there, so we could not actually, let's start the node now. So we saw that I also did a PG, fail to update keep ourselves local, that's fine. Okay, let's check on the node now. Okay, good. So everything is looking clean here now, all right? So we have, so now we've seen that we have our primary and our 2 standbys there right now, okay? So on the primary node, you could actually still check and you will see that everything is running here. If I duplicate the primary node here, if I duplicate this tab on the primary node, just to see Windows logging as Postgres, right? And I know that the primary node is running on 6001, right? So if I run select star from PG start replication here, right? I should be see that the nodes are replicating, right? So as we've already seen, when you're doing PG auto failover, and when you create your cluster and you start running it, it takes a PG based backup, it creates everything, start up the streaming replication, and right now everything is working fine. Right? We could check. Let us just check that. Let's open up a normal thing here. Let me comment out this so that we don't have. So this here is my master server here, and this is my application. Okay, that means I needed to replicate another standby. All right. So this is my standby 1, and this is my standby 2. Oh no. How I got that right? Okay, this is my master. Okay, this is my master here. Let me bring it right closer here. The master closer here. This is the other standby. Let me duplicate this one as well. I hope you guys don't get confused here because since I'm not using the service file. Yeah, so this is my standby 1 here. Okay. Okay, and this is my 2. This is my standby 2 here. Let me also duplicate this one as well. Now let me bring it across near here. Okay, let me split out the screen here. I know there's a lot of stuff going on here, but we'll figure that out. So this is my standby 1. Okay, this is my master node here, right here. This is my monitor. Okay. So, okay. So I don't want anything. I want only these 3. Okay, even the application, no. So just these 3 nodes here. So let me log in here as Postgres here. And if I log into this one, is going to be 600. That is my standby 1. It's going to be 6002. And this other one is going to be 6003, I think. Yeah. So if we do \DT, we don't have any tables. All right. Right. \DT, there are no tables in any of them. So over here on the master server, if I create a table here, \DT, you see we don't have any table as well. So let me say create table test Benson, select star from PG class. That's a table we've created. So we have one table test Benson there. So if we look on our 2 standby servers, \DT, we see we have the 2 tables there. So right now we could see that streaming replication is working fine, and everything is looking good at this point. All right, let me go ahead and comment out these 2, and let me leave only the this is our monitor here. So here we could see here that the monitor is up, and everything is working as it's supposed to be there. And then now from the monitor, if you actually want to get the application connection string for the application to be able to connect, right, for the application to be able to connect to this setup here, what you could do is you could actually run run a command on this on our monitor here to actually get a default connection string. So you're going to run a command called show URI, and then you're going to specify -- formation default. right? Hyphen formation default. Now you see this connection string that it pulls out here. This is what you provide to your application. Now, if you look at this connection string very carefully, you realize that it contained the master, it contained the standby, and it can standby one and standby two. So that if the application, let's say we have an application here that needs to connect, what happens is that that application is able to, can connect to any one of them in case it fails over, in case there is a switch over, the application is able to, to still use that to connect. And this is what I want us to do here. I want us to test from the application how we could connect to this setup. And note this is the application. We've not done any setup on the application yet. So what we can do is we can copy this connection string over here. All right. We can copy right up to where we have read and write. You can end here. Right. This is just for a testing purpose here. And in this case now, let's go over to our application server here. And what we could do here is, let me log in as Postgres here. Log in as Postgres. I might need to, let me just go and export the path here, then which is going to be USR slash PGSQL. I think it should be PGSQL something. Let me see here. No, it's not here. When I did export it. Okay. But why is it? Did I not see that there? On the application. We'll paste this here. Let me do PSQL -hub to see. Let me see which PSQL. Okay, that's fine. It's pulling out from there. So now let's run PSQL, try to connect to a setup which will connect to our master server. So we copy that and we do PSQL over here. We paste the string, read and write. Okay, it does tells us that there's no HBA entry, right, for this particular application to connect to this database. So what you can quickly do is you can open up your PGHBA. No HBA for coming in from 137. Okay, so what we can do is let's just quickly edit that. All right, let's just quickly edit that. So let us exit here and let us cd to PG data. And we should be in PG data here. Oh no. Each one of them has their own PG data. So this should be the master here. This should be the standby. Okay, and let me see from here. This should be the master, which is supposed to be here. Right? And this should be the standby because I did not export that. Paste. And suddenly this should be the last standby. PGCTL2. So let's export that and let's cd into PG data and let's do PWD So they should both have different. So if we list this, we all see files there. So let's vi pghba conf, and let's go right down and see where we can add that for all the servers there. And okay, let me just, I don't know why it didn't pick that up here, but okay. Let me just put here host. So here I'm just want to allow the application to connect, right? And the user is Postgres, and it's coming on from 192.168. Anyway, just 137/32. And this is just a demo, so I'm just gonna leave everything the way it is. Trust. Okay. So I've added that on both sides, on all the master and the standby. So here I can reload. All right. Page command not found. I did export it. The path. So let me just export the path here. Export the path here. And I reload. So reload is good now. We're fine. Okay, so right now let's test from our application. Let's comment these guys out and test from our application if we're able to connect. And boom, you see? So application now let us connect, all right? So using this connection string we have here, what we're seeing here is that the application has defaultly connected to the primary server, and that is where everything is going on. So if we run something like select pg is in recovery, what we're going to see there is going to say something like false, which is true, which is false because the master is not recovering. So if we do something like create table testcon as select star, right? Select star from pg description, all right? See that I've created a table there, right? We created a table over there using the application. So you see the application could do right on the database, right? And over here, if we check over here, we realize that, you know, the connection is established. Okay, if we connect over here, we check the tables, it's not, but we need to connect to Autodb. So we connect to Autodb, we check, we could see that the application is writing. The table we just created here, you connected at the application, we could see the tables on the servers themselves. Right. So the application now it uses this connection in order to that string in order to establish a connection. All right. So there are a couple of things you could also see from the monitor, like you could just as what is going on now, you could see all the events that are happening. All right. Remember, oh, sorry, let me clean out these guys here. So over here, you could also see show events, right? You could also see even the events that are happening over here. I think it should be with an S. So you could see all the events that are going on, and this is a good way to kind of look what is going on. Let me come out of this so that you could see it clearly. All right. And this will be it. So you do show event here. You could see all the events catching up and all of this going on this particular service here. You could see that everything as state is still in good shape. And you could see that all the LSN are okay, shows that everything is working. It's just working fine. Okay. So, so another thing which I want us to see here is how we can perform a switch over, right? We can perform a switch over here. So to perform a switch over, we still use the same command here. If you do perform hyphen help, we should be able to see other sub menus that come up. And here we could see that we could perform a failover, we could perform a switchover, we could perform a promotion, right? Which is those are some things you might, if you want to, let's say maybe applying a patch or whatever, you might decide to perform a switch over. Now let's perform a switch over here and see what happens. So let's do PGCTL perform switch over. All right, so that will be switch over. So when we run this now, note here that our primary node right now is the PG, which is running on 60001, and the standbys are running on 603 and 60. So let's run the promotion and see what happens. So look at what is happening here when you're running switchover. Switchover is done. It's nothing really much there. But if you look at here, you see that it drains the primary node, and it's perform all this, start preparing promotion and all of that. But at the end of it all, you realize that it is the PG's the standby tool, which now becomes the primary, right? So now if you run PGCTL, look at the state, you're going to see here that your primary here is this guy, all right? So now promotion is pretty cool here using PG auto failover, which is kind of nice. Now let's look at our application and see what happened. Remember we had our application here which was connected already. Let me just do comment out these things here so that I shouldn't type over there. And now remember that this node which I connected to initially was the master, right? And but now it's actually a standby right now. So if I look at what is going to happen here, so if I run this, you see that that connection is closed, right? It's closed because there was a switch over. But right now, it has already auto connected to the new master. So if I run this query again, it works now. So it auto connected already, right? Even though the session was still there, right? It re-established a new session to our new server, which is the primary right now. And right now, I can go ahead and create um, another table here, which works just fine. Right? Create another table which works just fine. So that is how you can connect using the application. It's really cool. So if you perform another switch over again here, like here, if we try to run, let's try to run another switch over again here, right? And you can see from the logs over there showing you everything fair to transition because it's actually promoting this node right now. And you could see from the log what all of thing that is happening, right? Changing the states and re-promoting the new node and everything. All right. So you could see how everything is working. So you see now that we have our node connected back to our new primary. And our session that was here is going to automatically time out and reconnect itself automatically to our new node. So if we run any query here, it will time out the first time. And then if we attempt to run it again the second time, now it re-established that already. And it's working just fine. All right. So what again I want to show here. Okay, so now we've seen how it failover takes place. It's called, sorry, switch over. So there's a command we did run earlier on, which let me see here on our monitor. We did show state, we did show promote, perform a failover that promotes a target node. So you could also decide to choose, um, you know, whichever one you want to promote by using the promotion. So again, what else we want to see here? There are a whole lot of very, very cool commands. If you go through our website, you will see that there. And you could, um, see exactly what is going on. And we've seen a couple of them already, but if we did show the state, and you could also see, we could also see the settings as well. Show settings, which shows you the settings of these nodes. Those are some commands which can come handy. And we've also seen what again? We had a couple of them there. Show hyphen hub again. You could see. Could show settings, show states, show events, show standby names, show file. Right, you could see all of that. You could see exactly where you have your config files for the monitor and all of that. And note that these commands that we put here, like um, um, promotion, what the commands, all we do, we do run there. Yeah, you could actually run those commands from either of the standby nodes as well. Okay, so yeah, so the last thing we're gonna do here is just to perform a failover. Then we see how that works. So the last thing we're just gonna do here is just to do a failover, as I already mentioned. But before we do that, I want to push some more data into this node from. I want to push some more data into this node from the from our application. So let's consider this is our application server here. What I'm gonna do here is I will use PG Bench kind of to use PG Bench here, and then I'm just gonna initialize using PG Bench, okay? And all this is from the application. And then now let me run some transactions there. Uh, just gonna do PG Bench. I'm gonna run like 1,000 transactions. Oh, sorry, 1,000 transactions, and I will specify a number of clients. I will say, let me just say 20 clients run that. And each of those transactions should open a new connection. All right. Let me run this. So it might take a while to run, but you could see there that if we look on any of the nodes here, like on the master node, for example, here, we should be able to see that we're having a whole lot of transactions coming in. If we do PG, grep, Postgres, PS. So you will be able to see quite a lot of transactions. Some are performing updates, some are performing idle, and you could see that they're all coming from the application in Postgres, and they're connecting to the Autodb database. So since we have 20 of them, you will see 20 of those connections, each hitting the database. All right. and they're performing all that. So it looked like it's kind of taking a while, but immediately that finish, we should run our last command. And again, there are a lot of things to try out. Here was just kind of putting out the demo on the on the sample configuration. All right. We might have another class, another demo kind of where we go through a whole lot of different, different parameters there. All right. Okay. So let's attempt failover. So let me just do promotion. Please use hyphen name to the target node. Again, as I mentioned earlier on, when you're doing promotion, you want to choose which node you want to use, right? You want to choose, okay, I want this particular node to be um, my new, my new master, all right? Because right now, if for example we perform a normal switch over, if we perform a normal switch over as we're doing right now, what we realize there is that we have standby two become the new master, the new primary. But again, if we want to have, let's say for example, we want to have two, we could use the promote, and then you could put a thing as, and it did mention hyphen name, and you put the node name here that this node two. Right? So let's test this out and see what happens. So it's doing the same draining, and since we specified a particular node, we're hoping that that becomes a new primary. All right. So we see now that the new primary has become this. So you could choose which node you actually want it to be. So if we check out the state here, we see that the actual node which we choose is now the primary. All right. But if you just decide to do a normal switchover, it will choose, but if you it will just randomly choose any node, but there are actually criteria to do that. So so we've seen how we could switch over, we've seen how we could do a promotion, and even a failover as well is also possible, right? Could perform a failover as well. So so let me just do failover. Um, I didn't spell that well. Failover. So it's just so it's running, and you could see everything going on there. Right? Pretty cool though. Um, Pretty cool to do. Okay, so back to over here. So guys, explore. There are a lot of things to explore. There are a lot of commands even to run from this particular node, from actual um, monitor node, and yeah, that should be really cool, right? So again, that was just what we did configure there already. Oh, I think I'm somewhere else. Yeah, again, we did, so we have five nodes, one master, two standbys, monitor, and application, and we've seen exactly how we could use the application to connect, right? So that is kind of pretty straightforward process, but we could go into a deeper things later on, right? Now, there's just one last thing I want to mention here before we close up here today is that you could actually connect to the PG failover command line, whereby you could run some almost the same commands that we've been seeing already there. And let's look at the UI. Let's get the UI. Okay. So so for the monitor, we could see this. So we could actually connect to the monitor, right? And you can use this to connect to the monitor. You know, because when you see the URI, it gives you two. So you could use this to actually connect to the monitor from any other server, from any other node, and you could run commands with it. So let me show something here how we could easily do that. All right. So over here from the monitor here, if I run PSQL and I pick this for the monitor to connect to the failover monitor here, so it will log me into the PG auto failover command line. And here there are a lot of commands I could see there, right? And then, if I try to see exactly the extensions, you could see that we have a PG auto failover extension over here, right? And you could still use that to actually still run, different types of a whole lot of different types of command. And as mentioned earlier, this tool it's really cool. So you could run commands from here. You could even do failover from here and all of that from here as well. Let me expand out this so that we see here. Okay. So I just log on to that, and you could do that also from any other server. You could log on to the monitor from any other server. So even if I'm on the standby server, where's one of the standby servers, right? You see here, I could log on to that, and actually, this server here is the which of my servers is this? Okay, this is the application anyway. So you can log on to that. All right. So let me just exit out of here. You could log on even to any of our standby servers. Okay. I think this. You can run this, and you can run commands as if you're actually on the monitor. Right. It's purely uh, not identify current directory. Yeah, I'll need to export that because it's not there. But again, that's the same thing. Just showing you guys here. You could log onto the command line and you could run a whole lot of stuff. You could select name, settings, unique, this from this where auto failover, and there you go. There's a whole lot of information that you could do. All right. So again, it shows you the health check information and all cool information there, right? So again, I play around with this tool. It's kind of really cool, and like the fact that the connection string just has all the all the notes in there, and it could easily just route the connections to the available nodes there. All right. Okay. See you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this.